That's way better.
Hey, this is Kyle.
This is Ashley.
From Green Apple DIY. We're doing a movie review today of Star Wars The Last Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Revenge of the Skywalkers.
The Last of the Jedi.
The Clone of the Skywalker.
Yes. Okay, you're totally throwing me off. I love it. Okay, so to start with this movie review, where we were super excited going in to see it, like I could not wait. It's the final of a saga that's taken 9 movies and multiple cartoons. And we are fans. We just to warn you, where you're trying to not do spoilers, we're going to try our hardest to not let anything slip out for those who are going to watch this weekend.
I'm going to do
Thursday.
a whole lot of spoilers.
He's just going to start rambling things off that.
Yeah. Chewbacca is your father.
Chewbacca's Rey's father. Why would you tell them that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so to get kind of an idea about us, we did watch all of Star Wars before. We went chronologically through the movies, and we included the cartoons, such as the Clone Wars movie, the Clone Wars cartoons. We watched
Which
Rebels.
is the best.
Okay,
if
Clone
you haven't
Wars,
seen the animated
it.
series, you're not watching Star Wars.
It's true.
That's where all the
There are
storylines at.
some characters in there that are the best written characters you will ever see in the Star Wars cinema. They're Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, Ahsoka is the
We'll just start
best.
with her.
Kanan Jarrus, awesome. Just some of the best characters that they ever wrote. Better than anything in the movie, in my opinion.
I feel like watching the movies without seeing the cartoons really gives it a whole disservice, because you don't get a grasp on the political ideology that's going on. You don't get a deeper understanding of why Darth Vader would become Darth Vader until you see the Clone Wars and you see what his Padawan goes through. Then you go, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I see why by the 3rd movie he turned. Without that, you just don't get a grasp on the movie. So, with that being said, I also read some of the books as I went along through the movies.
She's a huge nerd, as you can tell. They
Yes.
believe you. They believe you.
Do they understand that now?
You don't need to continue to prove it.
Okay, so
But,
I like Star Wars. So we went and saw Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Which the title is important.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
So, without too many spoilers, what did you think of the visual effects that they used in this movie?
Exceptional. Like the ships. Sometimes they kind of like fuzz out certain scenes, like because it's easier when you're animated things not to have to draw perfectly crisp and then translate it into different. Like for instance, with the Millennium Falcon in some of the movies, I didn't really care for the visuals. Like it just seemed like they were kind of cheaping out on some of that. This one, it seemed like they really made it look as realistic as possible. Yeah, I thought it was awesome, except for when they tried to bring back the dead. When they try to do faces for some reason.
Yeah, those that are no longer with us.
It's a little weird.
Okay, so the J.J. Abrams took pieces of the Force Awakens. He took Carrie Fisher, and he took those and he edited them in the film. Specifically with that, did you feel like it was a little off?
For the most part, no. But
I didn't think so either. I thought it was amazing.
There was a couple areas where it kind of felt like maybe it was somebody else's head. It's one of those things where they're hugging the person and it's like it's a little off. Yeah, like something's that might not be her. I don't know. It may have been, but it just kind of felt like they had spliced some things together, which understandable. You know, you're working with like pre-written footage, pre-recorded footage, and trying to splice it in with something that's happening right now. So I don't know. I mean, I couldn't do any better. That was pretty awesome.
I agree. I thought they did a really good job. There were some times where I was like, well, the camera angle seems a little off. She seems really small. But I thought, maybe Carrie Fisher is really small. I never met her, so maybe she is tiny. She probably was.
Yeah, I think she's 5 foot, maybe.
Yeah, so
a little bitty.
I was a little thrown off because I felt like maybe the characters... But I understand that Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, is like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", something like that. So she is taller.
That's really tall for a lady.
Anyway. So she's tall. So I felt like maybe those scenes were right because it seemed like the rest of the characters from the newer movies are way taller than her.
Yeah.
And then Chewbacca, of course.
Chewbacca's the tallest.
Yeah.
He's like Yao Ming in that costume.
I don't know who that is.
It's from the time of giants. Well, Yao Ming is not a Star Wars character, so
It's not a Star
you
Wars
wouldn't know anything about that.
I know nothing.
Okay, next question.
Oh, so then I had other questions. Okay, so we're going on to basics of a movie. Did the storyline make sense?
Yeah, it felt a little shoehorned at times, like they were trying to answer questions rapid fire for the first hour.
Yes.
Like just trying to kind of tie up loose ends.
The pacing is so fast.
I was never bored.
No. It was more like, okay, where are we at in the storyline? What's going to happen next? And then all of a sudden you're just smacked in the face with a massive plot line. And you're sitting there and I would seriously just be like, did they really just answer that? And then they're just moving on. And it was 2 hours and 22 minutes of just go, 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 answer everything.
There wasn't a whole lot of
intense.
times. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of times I felt myself wondering what's happening at the other part of the galaxy with other characters. So
That's true.
that really only like one time in the desert. And I was
Okay.
kind of like, this is it's taking a minute.
People say there's not really a slow point. I read some reviews before we went, and everybody's really happy with the results that JJ came up with because he's piecing all this together. I mean, he created The Force Awakens, and then someone else did the Last Jedi. So he's piecing all these together along with all the originals. But I felt like he did kind of ignore the original prequels, the 1, 2, and 3. There were just some things that I felt like he could have tied up with those, but
Like no Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, you totally just spoiled all that.
So irritating.
I'm like, what happened to all the Gungans? I don't know. Anyway, that's that.
They went right
Maybe
in the
we'll limit
scrap.
that to
They
the
went right in
only
this
spoiler.
scrap heap of history. It's really sad.
Just ignore it.
Poor
Yeah, just
Gungans.
ignore the Gungans.
Anyway,
What else was I gonna say? Oh, so my brain is just swimming with all kinds of ideas. There's some things that they throw in from A New Hope that made, I mean, it was very touching that JJ threw in some references, and you have to just kind of be
tying
big
up
nerd.
some loose ends that I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there that I was very happy after I came home and Googled it and was like, what is that? Why did he do that? And then we figured that out. They're bringing back characters that we know and love.
I didn't need to Google it. I knew.
I didn't know.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably a better adult than I am.
But we did take somebody who just goes and sees the movies and doesn't follow there's a series of these movies. They just kind of sat along and they still were like, this is good. This was a good movie. I get it.
A
It was simple enough.
lifetime Hallmark movie aficionado.
Yeah. So I feel like anybody can watch it and be like, good versus evil. I get it. It's a touching story. You know,
It's
love conquers all.
a similar story to a lot of them. I feel like overall it was a feel-good story. Mm-hmm. It ended and you feel like everything had been resolved. Like there wasn't anything like, oh, they're setting it up for another movie or none of that feel.
No,
it felt like
we're done.
Felt like that's a wrap.
Yeah.
And it did answer a lot. So,
Yes.
Yeah, overall, out of 10, I enjoyed it. I don't care if the people behind me didn't. We had some...
Yes, there were some that were very critical of it.
Yeah, super nerd critics, and they're like, oh, picking it apart. But man, I thought it was a good movie, and
maybe movie-wise, it's not great, but we're including it as part of the whole saga. And how else can you wrap this up? I had my theories, and I was off. I really, after watching all the movies and the cartoons, I didn't see what was going to happen. I should have, but
Yeah.
it didn't. I just thought it was going to go a different way. But all in all, I'm like, my head's still swimming, and I'm thinking, this is it? I got to go see it again. Because
we'll
so
probably
much
see it
stuff
again.
happened in those 2 hours and 22 minutes.
this weekend.
So hopefully this weekend we'll go and we'll see it with all the hardcore fans that are just super into Star
Yeah.
Wars like me.
Some like level 8 single guys. You know, like real professional.
That collect all the lightsabers.
Real professional bachelors.
The kind that they can unbox and then have still one that's boxed.
Yeah, they have all the holocrons, both Sith and Jedi. And, you know, yeah, they're professional.
Just normal everyday adulting.
Professional guys.
I'm still debating whether or not I want to get a holocron.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Just my own lightsaber.
It's just another thing to sit around on the shelf. And it doesn't
sit
actually.
On the shelf. You gotta use it all the time.
Well, yeah, you'd be using it all the time. We use our lightsaber quite often to ward off criminals, so you know,
yeah.
It's a good investment.
Self-defense.
Overall, I'd say 8 out of 10.
Oh, it's so hard to decide. I didn't even think about this. Probably 8 out of 10 because it was overwhelming. It was, but I had anticipated it too much.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the trailer over and over and over and over and over again and then watched all the little clips that they showed me, and I felt like the trailer was wrapped up so fast that I was, like, still swimming trying to realize that this was actually
In
happening.
a very general way, if you could fix or change one thing, what would it be?
Jar Jar would have been the Emperor.
Yeah. So sad.
I don't know.
I really hoped to see some kind of follow-up on Darth Jar Jar, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. I think that is scrapped entirely. And completely, yeah.
Yes. No, people would have been so mad if JJ had done that. It would have been hilarious.
Like, I'm bringing back Jar Jar. Messed it all up. Sorry, y'all.
That would have been so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so our only spoiler so far, I believe, has been Jar Jar.
That's
really
it.
Good.
That we did good. No spoilers.
Yeah.
Legit.
Man.
Go see it, people. 8 out of 10. That's our rating.
But first, watch all of Clone Wars.
You
and Rebels.
first have to watch about 3 years worth of material.
No, it really wouldn't matter. I feel like if you just watch The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
you'd be caught
The
up.
Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, I guess, you know.
That was our least favorite.
It wasn't great, but
okay, well, Phantom Menace. Let's go
Phantom
back.
Menace.
Hold on.
Pretty awesome. Anyway, that is it. Goodbye,
We could go on
people.
forever.
Yeah, this is it. Over. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.